Hi, guys. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. Uh, Hold on. Okay. So I'm going to be doing a reading for us. When I asked what this conversation was going to be about, what I heard is overcoming every obstacle placed before you. Mhm. Mhm. That's all I got to say about that. Mhm. Okay, let me stop my drama. Let me go ahead and reshuffle these cards. You guys, while I'm getting our cards ready, just a quick FYI, the info dump has begun. The information dump that I've been talking about on TikTok, it has begun, and I've begun releasing content that, kind of gives a little bit of information, a little bit of info regarding celestial things. I'm very excited to continue that and answer questions on that post. If you'd like me to talk about certain things, whatever I'm drawn to, comment on there. It's the post that is titled Halls of Amenti. I believe it's pinned to the top of my TikTok page. Go comment over there, and who knows? Maybe I'll talk about what you're asking about. All right, I'm almost ready. Oh, I'm so tired. Okay. No, you may not have a reading because there's nothing here that's talking about personal readings. Can we please just kind of stay on track about, what videos are about? It says right there, right? It doesn't say free readings. Okay. Right. Anyways, sorry, guys. Yes, I'm almost ready. Almost ready. Hi, Mindy. All right, I'm almost ready, y'all. Congrats on your new job. All right, here goes. Here goes. All righty. I'm a little bit snarky today, I think. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, let's see. Overcoming every obstacle placed before you. Mhm. Mhm. All right. So there's an imbalance that's happening, right? There is a need for you to go ahead. Yeah, let's call you out real quick and hold you accountable. You're right. You would have paid because you heard me shuffling cards. No, if you would have paid for a reading, which there's nothing here that indicates that I'm doing personal readings, you would have asked, are these paid readings? Don't give me excuses. I'm psychic AF and I know people's intentions. Okay? So don't try and play with me. One thing I can't stand is when people cannot take accountability for their own words and actions, right? Where it's being brought to light that, hey, your behavior is not being received very well, rather than simply apologizing, like, you know what, I'm sorry for being disruptive. You try and give another excuse. That's a type of behavior that I just cannot tolerate. I've never had the capacity or the willingness to tolerate that type of caca. I'm all about holding people accountable, not necessarily calling people out. Maybe today calling people out because I don't know, maybe I need to eat. I think I need to eat. I'm feeling snarky. But that's a thing. Part of the way you overcome every obstacle that's placed before you is by being very cognitive of the way your behaviors are creating the circumstance that you're needing or now having to live through, right? Um, I think for many of us, we're at a space where we can hold ourselves accountable. For others of us, um, not so much. Now, there's no superiority or inferiority in whichever group you're in. There's just a need to recognize where you're at. This imbalance that's taking place is definitely something that it needs your attention. It needs your attention. It needs you to get to a point within yourself where um, you can begin to understand the ways in which you're giving your power away by not owning your own actions, not owning your words, not allowing yourself to heal beyond whatever programs you've been participating in. I know on social media, there's a lot of different, very unsavory behaviors that are very much normalized. Um, and this is across all social media platforms, right? This is across all platforms. Certain behaviors, entitlement is one of them. Um, this lack of awareness of how the words the intention of creating a joke at the expense of someone else can be detrimental for the person you're doing this to. Lots of different behaviors. And I think part of what needs to happen at this point, part of the way our community and the collective whole at large begins to overcome these obstacles, and the obstacles are clearly programs, is by really taking an honest look at where we are within our journey, right? Really taking a very honest look. It's time for us to become our own healers, to heal ourselves in the environments we are currently existing in. It's not always a feasible thing to think that or to expect that you must first exit out of your current environment in order to be able to heal. That's not fully claiming all of your power. To fully claim all of your power, you need to be able and willing, focused enough to heal in whatever environment you are occupying. That's a challenging thing to do for many people. Okay. Sometimes I'm able to do that, sometimes I'm not. And whatever we are able to do in that moment is what we are able to do in that moment. That's why this is not about I'm more advanced than you, I'm superior. Like, no, 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 no. We're all struggling through different phases of our healing. There's no superiority. Okay. There's just really a need to begin reclaiming your power by way of recognizing where you are at within your process. Now, I think for some, um, there is some type of emotional winter that we are pushing towards our masculine aspects, the parts of us that have the capacity to speak up, speak out, enforce boundaries, allow ourselves to exist in such a way where we're no longer shrinking, we're no longer um, refusing to speak what needs to be spoken. And some people might have the opinion that if you don't like something, if something is unsavory, if something is displeasurable to you in some way, you just ignore it. Don't give your energy to it. Just ignore it. Don't respond to it. Sometimes that's appropriate. Other times, that lack of response is going to be the very thing that emboldens and empowers an individual who is intentionally malignant towards you. You're going to have to begin discerning the difference between those types of circumstances. Because if you don't have the appropriate response, you definitely can be opening the doorway for more caca to come through. So, just kind of determine what needs to be addressed and what doesn't. What I've found in my own journey, being publicly visible, um, just the fact that you're publicly visible, and this is true for anyone who posts public posts on social media. It doesn't matter how many followers, likes, or how huge your platform is. Anyone publicly visible, what I have found is if you don't intentionally cultivate your space, all sorts of yuckiness will be able to permeate that space. That's why sometimes you'll see me ignore things. Other times you'll see me address it head on and become very staunch in my stance. Like, no, you will not. Absolutely not. Right? I've had to learn those things in a very hard way, a very viscerally felt type of struggle. And in my sharing of the ways in which I've learned these different types of lessons, I'm hoping that you'll be able to apply whatever needs to be applied to your circumstance, and you'll be able to greatly avoid whatever lessons that you're already learning by simply having this space of conversation with me, right? So, this masculine aspect of yourself, you know, if you need to speak up for yourself, you need to speak up for yourself. I see this masculine card as very similar to the energy of my husband. Um, he'll say whatever he's going to say. He will absolutely say whatever he's going to say. And if he doesn't like the way you're addressing me, if he doesn't like um, the way you've approached his wife, he'll say something to you. He yeah, it's just he's gonna say whatever he's gonna say, right? He doesn't just um, he doesn't just keep running off at the mouth, though. How often do you guys see him commenting? Here and there, here and there. But it's not a constant, like, look at me, it's all about me type of thing. This masculine energy that's inside you is wanting to speak openly about something that's highly offensive to your sovereign existence. Overcoming every obstacle placed before you requires you to address those obstacles, not just pretend they don't exist. Addressing things sometimes involves only assessing whether or not you can get around it. Other times, addressing these obstacles means finding a way to climb over it. And other times, addressing those obstacles means um, really accumulating some fuel, which is typically emotions, and then um, bulldozing the fucking shit out of it. At the end of the day, nothing can stop you if you won't allow it. At the end of the day, nothing can stop you if you will not allow yourself to be stopped. How many times have you consented to being stopped? Y'all, the fuckery that's going on in the world right now, part of what I'm so irked about from the start of this live stream, I never hear airplanes over this property. Y'all hear that? I don't know if you can hear it now. Can y'all hear it? I don't know if you can hear it. It's like the sound of extremely large aircrafts just hovering over the property. You can hear it? Yeah. It's not as loud as before I started. I had to wait for it to finish before I started. Ah, it is what it is. You heard it for like an hour? Ooh, let me just. Mm, mm-mm-mm. 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 There's things happening. The masculine aspect of ourselves, the masculine aspect of the collective whole needs to stand up, needs to stand up. This ties into a lot of these different programs where our fellow women are being encouraged to be very accusatory and hateful towards the males of the world. Y'all, those are all programs. Those are all programs. Those are all programs. That is a massive obstacle that is placed before us, the collective whole. How is that logic okay? Where we're continuing to bash men. And I'm not saying that it's only women doing that. Okay? There are men who do that as well. Bashing one specific group for what? For what? For what reason? Outside of to create division. That's an obstacle. It's a massive obstacle. Why? Well, because the goal at this point is reunification, a celebration of our diversity, unified in that diversity. We need to begin identifying what the actual obstacles are, the actual obstacles that have been placed before you, not the distractions, not the inconsequential things that are designed to simply use up all of your fuel so that you don't have the capacity, the ability to overcome certain things. Ah, we're at the cusp of a profound, very profound shift on a personal and a collective level, right? I agree, Oracle. Grace needs to be applied, but have we learned the difference between grace and enablement? Because I think for many of us, um, we've become so confused as to what grace and enablement are and the nuanced differences between the two. And we've been blanketing people with enablement rather than actually utilizing some grace, right? Shadow in reverse. Hmm. Immediately, there's this sense that I'm being given the shadow in reverse card that the dark things, malignant things that have kind of been filtering through here and there before all of this eclipse stuff, and a few different things that are being able to uh, enter this space by way of covert plans. They're being pulled back. Excuse me. It's this sudden awareness that whatever little bits that we're able to get through the work we did as a community, it's actively being pulled back. That's fascinating. The foundation is being built for whatever life you're supposed to live in this lifetime. whatever purpose, whatever potentialities, that foundation is now being built. That's the process that we're all currently in. It would be good for you to allow yourself to excavate everything that needs to be dug up and removed from within the foundation that you are building. This includes insecurities. It includes the ways in which you allow people to enable or you enable people's toxic behaviors. Um, hmm, hmm. There's some interesting things that I'm picking up on. Okay. The Horse King, assistance, control. Ooh. It's in reverse. This is in reverse. Ooh. The riders of the apocalypse, their leader, the Horse King, is requesting assistance to control. Their work is not, it's not working. It's not working. And so they're trying to escalate things. I like that. I like that. They're trying to bring in from deep within the mountains. They're trying to force our innocence and purity to bow. No, it's in reverse. It's in reverse. Hmm. I have a theory on why they refer to us as a herd. You ever hear the term herd mentality? Um, to insulate the herd, right? We have this herd mentality. All you got to do is spook a couple, and then it will be a stampede in the direction that they want you to go into. We've witnessed this happening for the whole eclipse thing leading up to the eclipse. That herd mentality. They're causing or trying to cause some type of stampede, and they're trying to determine how easily we can be caused to stampede in the direction they want us to go into. I have very distinct memories still intact from my lifetime as First Nation tribes, indigenous tribes. Um, one of the most effective ways to hunt was to create a restriction, right? In an area, create like a bottleneck to force whatever animals you're trying to get to stampede into that direction. It typically works best in like a ravine, a canyon, that type of thing. And so you get them to stampede into that area. And any of the individuals that are attempting to bolt in a different direction, you have your warriors, your hunters positioned to force them back into place, to force them to continue driving the herd into the direction that you want them to go in. And once they're all there, because it's blocked off, there's nowhere for them to go. Once they're all in there, you gate it off. You create a blockage. They can't get out. And now, because of the natural formation, you just climb up to the top. You're now in a position of tactical advantage. And you just begin shooting into the ravine. You just begin shooting into the canyon. That lower portion that's contained the entire herd. And there goes your successful hunting trip. What are they trying to shoehorn us into? That's what I want to know. You see, the trick is to not allow the brave ones in the herd to branch off in a different direction, because if one of them branches off, all the others who aren't as brave will follow that one, as long as they're able to see that that one has branched off. Why am I being given this message? Trying to figure that out. It feels like there's another layer of meaning, and it might be a personalized message. I'm not sure. But it feels like there's another layer of meaning that is just beyond the parameters of my awareness. Is it like something along the lines of I'm branching off? Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. Carrying on, the web weaver, synchronicity, divine intelligence, cause and effect. Mm-mm-mm. There's a lot of synchronicity that's happening here. The synchronicity that's occurring, it's being fueled by your divine intelligence. Your higher self, your soul, knows exactly what's happening. What is going on? 88th Masters. There's a tournament. 88th Masters. So, like a convergence of master consciousness, ascended consciousness. Let me see what this means. Par 3 holes are the shortest and give players 3 shots to make par. Par 3 holes are exciting to play as you can easily reach the green from the tee box. The excitement that par 3 golf courses provide have led to the creation of golf courses that consist of only par 3 holes. I hate golf. I don't know if I ever told you guys that. My father loves golf. He should try and force me to learn how to golf. That's why I hate golf. Because he didn't care if I wanted to play it or not. He was just like, this can make us very rich if you're good enough. So one day, his expensive ass golf clubs were inside the house. And the floor was hard tile. And one day I was just like, I don't know what was going on in my head, but I went ahead and I launched a fat ass kick into that golf bag, knocking the whole thing over. And it was a loud, like loud kabang through the whole house. At which point, because the ceilings are all vaulted and you pair vaulted ceilings, cathedral ceilings with tile floor, it was loud. And then my father came running out of his room and he's like, "What was that? What was that?" I don't know. It looks like your golf clubs fell. Okay, so let's see. Um, so it's the shortest and it gives players 3 shots to make par. There's going to be 3 attempts and they're short. It's like a short. Okay, this is shit's about to pop off. 3 attempts at an FF. If you guys know what an FF is, because I can't really say it here on this channel. It's a little too risque for YouTube. It's a little bit too risque. If you know what an FF is, just go ahead and put it in the comments and people can read it. There's going to be 3 attempts at an FF. They're going to be acute situations, short like boom out of nowhere. There's not going to be a wind up to it. It's just going to be an attempt. And if they can get it in the hole, what's going to happen? They have 3 opportunities, and what's going to happen if they get it into the hole? They're going to initiate a stampede. People are going to freak the fuck out. Y'all need to keep your senses about you. I don't know if it's because I've lived such a traumatized life, but whenever trauma comes, I get real fucking calm. I get real calm. I don't know if it's the ADHD. I don't know if it's the PTSD. I don't fucking know. But when you trigger me just right, when it feels like my survival is at risk, everything moves in slow motion. And all the potentialities are just like, okay, which do I select? Which is feasible? Which is sustainable? Which is the most powerful? Which will negate? Which will allow for the neutralization of further attempts? There's going to be 3. They're all going to come together, converge into one space. 88th Masters. 88th Masters week is finally here. Okay, this is crazy. So I got that notification, and when I opened the rest of the notifications for that specific box, that specific inbox. So 88th Masters, it's a 3-part contest. This will help you fight inflation. I know times are tough right now for a lot of people. So I've got information I'd like to share. And then the next one, says, I'm sorry if you missed this notice. I wanted to reach out and say, I'm sorry. Many people reported that they missed this time sensitive notification, and I wanted to make sure you didn't. Improvements impacting you. I was asked to send this opportunity out one last time. You've reached loyal supporter status in our system. This means you're getting this before anyone else. Resources have been set aside in order to help our folks in need. Okay. Calm. You guys need to prepare for there are certain events you need to prepare for. We get through everything no matter what. But the way you experience these events will be greatly determined by how you prepare now. I don't like to give these types of messages. You need to prepare something. And they're not going to give you advance notice. Actually, they already gave you advance notice, but they flubbed on the date. You can expect whatever these situations are, you can expect them to interrupt the supply chain for no less than 3 weeks. I'm just sedating myself. This is intense. Bish. Are there 3 events that in actuality are all part of a singular plan? Yes. Bish, is my receiving of the message accurate? Yes. Do we need to prepare for a 3-week period of supply chain disruption? Yes. Is this disruption irreversibly catastrophic? No. Is this 3-week period of supply chain disruption intended to initiate the stampede? Yes. Okay. Okay. So clearly, this is just to initiate fear. It's kind of hard to be afraid um, if you have what's necessary to tide you over for 3 weeks. Okay. Absolutely, Cynthia. Absolutely. You should always have like minimal levels of certain things that are necessary for you, so you never have to worry about unforeseen circumstance affecting your region. You just, that's just a very smart type of logic to have. It's not a common logic, but it's very smart. Um, hmm. It feels like it's coming soon, within 40 days after the eclipse. Where the fuck did that come from? 40 days after April 8th. It's a Saturday, May 18. Hold on. Okay, give me 1 second. The Jonah eclipse, 40 days, God's urgent warning to America. This is totally I can already tell this website is totally like apocalyptic in nature. Let's see what they're saying. Okay, okay. So we're just gonna screenshot that. Okay. What does this mean? Aleph Tav. Tav meaning. They serve as encouragement and confirmation. They can strengthen your belief. Tav in Hebrew is the last letter of the Hebrew word emet, which means truth. Aleph Mem Tav. Sheker. There is truth in the falsehood, while falsehood is hidden in truth. Okay. What books are Messianic Aleph Tav scriptures? The Matz was written to be a study Bible. It's about the Old Testament. Used throughout the Old Testament by both Moses and the prophets. And I would highly recommend you guys do not use anything in the book of Revelations. That's the book that's being used to pre-program. If you want to use the Bible for any type of um like confirmation or messages or whatever, I would strictly look at the Torah. Let's see. Okay. I feel sick. I feel real sick. I done fucking stressed myself out just now. Okay, let's see. Um, Tav Vav Aleph. A signal as a flag, beacon, monument, omen, prodigy, evidence, mark, miracle, sign, token, uth, a primitive root, properly to come, implied to assent, consent. Okay. I can't do this with you, Michael. I can't do this with you. I can't do this with you right now. Like, I'm done. I'm done. Don't talk to me. I'm done. I'm going back to a regular reading. You're not going to put me in that mindset. I haven't eaten and I'm done. Okay. Going back to the reading. Sorry. I could feel my vagus nerve getting dysregulated. No. Be ready for a 3-week period. Now, does that mean something really, really bad, apocalyptic, mass casualty type event? I don't think so. I think it has to do with a disruption in the supply chain, uh, being used to initiate fear and all of these different things. Just get enough for 3 weeks. And when things start to pop off, whatever these FFs are, just start to conserve whatever resources you have during that 3-week period. It's perfectly fine. You're going to be perfectly fine. If you allow yourself to get riled up, oh, okay. Just got a notification. Sometimes I get sick of your shit, Michaela. Um, did you miss our last message? We wanted to make sure you got this before the weekend is over. I'm one of the people who don't have a budget to like freak out and buy 3 weeks worth of extra stuff. He says soup kitchens and pantries. Um, go to seek out churches in your area, your local area, that have the ability to provide you with some supplies. Um, and don't freak out. Simply secure what is necessary, what you actually will eat. You don't have to get like a month supply or anything like that. You probably already have some stuff at home. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Um, he says, you already know everyone's gonna be fine. Why are you getting so irate? Because you're scaring everybody. You are totally just like hyperstimulating my brain, and people seeing my brain hyperstimulated is scaring them. So stop. Okay. The cosmos, creativity and vastness. It's in reverse. So that means this is going to be a very limited thing. They don't have the power, the powers that be do not have the authority to create. They have um, a limited field of dominion. Okay. You are not within their dominion if you do not have fear. You simply are being made aware of certain things that that you need to be made aware of. So for whoever it was that wanted the and I'm telling you guys, this whole website reads as like apocalyptic stuff. So you're gonna read into it, which I don't even know if I'm gonna go back to it, but if you're gonna read into it, uh you're gonna freak yourself out. Here you go. There's the website. Okay. So, anyways, carrying on. I don't know if I'm gonna go back to that website. I want to be surprised just like everyone else. I do. I want to be surprised just like everyone else. Just make sure you have about 3 weeks worth of rationed food, meaning you don't need to eat a full on feast for every single meal and have 5 meals a day. And that's how much you have to have. No, you're going to have to ration that. You know, if you're working within a limited budget, ration what you can get. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. And just view it as like, you know, you're doing intermittent fasting. Whatever you need to do to wrap your mind around whatever it is, we're gonna be fine. The Lady of the Gift, generosity, receiving, withholding. But it's in reverse. So what is this telling us? Huh. So there is someone who is feigning innocence and purity, and they are speaking things into being or attempting to. And it's because there is this formidable correction that's happening in the distance. I can't go deeper into that, but there is a formidable correction in the distance that's being brought forward, and it's being brought towards the established fortress. I think the fortress represents what has been allowed to come into power because we keep giving our power away, right? And then you have the two candles, the two flames within proximity. It's going to burn up this. Whatever this is that's trying to be brought into fruition is going to burn that up, is not going to be allowed to happen. If we hold the space of really restricting how our energy is utilized by external factors, and that pretty much involves not allowing yourself to remain in a space of fear. There are some things when you first hear it, yeah, it's going to trigger a fear response. Allow yourself to feel that for a minute or two, which you guys saw me do, like, oh my fucking God. And then I'm like, no, that's enough. That's enough. I'm not going into that space of like frantic energy that's just rapidly consuming all of my energy. Like, no, I'm good. Whatever's going to happen, we're going to be perfectly fine. I'm just going to buy me some chicken. I'm going to buy me some chicken. I'm going to buy me some bean thread noodles. We're going to be perfectly fine. We're not going to have a feast if something happens. We can ration that out. We only need like a minimum of calories to be fine daily. You drop some weight, that's fine. That's what that jiggly stuff is for. You're going to be fine. You're going to be perfectly fine. And maybe this is a 3-week period that we need to experience so that enough of us can get pissed off enough, not scared, but pissed off enough to be like, you know what? You fucking took it too far. Now we need to stop all of this shit. We need to dethrone all of these principalities that have been put into place and have been governing us. I'm just saying. And for legality's sake, it's just analogies. We absolutely gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right, y'all. Everything's gonna be all right. No woman, no cry. Whoa. Okay, the fire prince, optimism and aggression. Like, look, they try and it ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna be allowed. He's upside down. He's upside down in his view. Because you know what's gonna happen? Enough people are gonna be triggered and they're gonna have had enough. You see, not enough of us have been inconvenienced by all of the bullshit that's been initiated since before 2020. Not enough of us have been inconvenienced to the degree that now we're pissed the fuck off. Typically, when you get really pissed off, for most people, not all, but for most, you're less willing to comply. You're more like, I don't give a shit at this point. I don't care. Right? So get there and be like, no, I'm not going to cooperate. Seriously, when you piss me off, like really, really piss me off, and I'm a fairly patient person for the most part. When I get pissed off already, it's like, no, I'm not cooperating with shit. I'm not gonna cooperate with jack shit. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I'm not gonna cooperate. I'm like, oh my God, you're gonna make it harder for everybody. Good. Then be hard for everybody. Good. And then that's my stance. You're not gonna change that. Yeah, once I get to that point, that's exactly how it goes. That is exactly how it goes. Like, I don't care. I don't care what the consequences are. I'm just gonna sit here and I'm just gonna twiddle my fucking thumbs. Why? Because Jesus gave me thumbs and I need to do something with it. Okay? Okay? Yeah, you guys have to be aware that there are agent provocateurs. These are the individuals who infiltrate specific groups, specific communities, and their singular intention is to be as disruptive as possible. Right? Oracle says, corner a cat and see what happens. Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember Felix. Felix is a rag doll. And ragdolls are bred to be extremely docile, like extremely docile. The reason they're called ragdolls is you could pretty much do whatever to them. they won't, they'll let you. They'll let you do whatever to them. Right. I remember one time a dog who luckily was just bluffing. This was years ago. Someone had come to visit and they had like a Maltipoo. And Felix was kind of just loose in the house. And the Maltipoo saw him and charged him. And he was kind of like up against the wall, just like staring at the dog who was snarling and barking and snarling and charging. And he didn't run away. I was like, Felix, fucking run. What's wrong with you? Right? Oh my God. So ragdolls are super passive, except the one time where, again, many, many years ago, my youngest was so innocently feeding himself at our dining table. He had a piece of chicken. And for some reason, I don't know what got into Felix. He jumped on the table. And then, as my littlest was trying to eat with his little tiny, tiny hands, his piece of chicken, Felix came up, stole it from the baby, and took off with it. He went under the table, and his docile ass was not docile after that. That was his first time having chicken. It was his first time having chicken, Felix. And The way he snarled, it sounded demonic. It was scary. I like, it was scary. I literally was scared, and I'm his person, and so he let me do whatever I want. He won't, like, fight me on anything. He'll let me do whatever the fuck I want. I can touch his paws, I can get all funky with his belly. He won't do anything. But that day, he snarled at me like he wanted to kill me. And I've never seen his eyes get so big and his ears so flat. And his pupils were like slits. And I was just like, I'm scared. I'm scared. And we had to use one of those robotic claws. I mean, you squeeze it and then it opens and closes the hand part. We had to use that to hold his front half down. And the fight that he put up to hold on to that piece of chicken, I never looked at him the same. It instilled a healthy fear in me. It instilled a very healthy fear in me. Yeah, never again was I able to see him as completely benign and completely just helpless. You trigger him just right. I mean, I've never seen him like that again, but I don't give a shit. As soon as I see that one time, I'm like, oh, I see. I see. I see how you really are. I don't fucks with you no more. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Not getting clawed the fuck up by him. Don't think so. Nope. No, sir. Absolutely not. I think we probably are very much like Mr. Felix. Given the proper motivation, we'll probably push back. We'll probably get to a point where we need to push back and be like, that's enough. That's absolutely enough. And we can begin correcting things at the root of the issue. And maybe these are the very reasons that certain types of events are going to be allowed to go forward, you know? Yeah, no, Oracle. That's, ooh, I read that and I was like, oh no. And mind you, he's a rag doll, okay? So he like very docile. Very, very, very docile. Years ago when I used to let him be seen, um, like people would see me cradling him on his back. And they were like, oh my God, he's so cute. He's so sweet. And he would just look at me lovingly. Um, nah, but I know what he's capable of now. He gave me a little taste before that. A couple years before that, we were living in the RV still. And I was live streaming, and there was an attempt to harm me energetically while I was live streaming. This was like years ago. And he ran from the front of the RV all the way to the back of the RV where I was live streaming. And I had a curtain up behind me as my backdrop. And the curtain was just on like little clips that were attached to the ceiling. And he ran up and I don't know if maybe I got breached or something, but he slapped me with his paw. And I was like, what did I do? He slapped me while I was live. Uh-huh. And then after he slapped me, he darted to the edge of the bed and then he darted behind me and then he launched himself onto the curtain, crawled to the top where the curtain ripped out. And then I do believe, if I remember right, he let go, came up to me again and slapped me again and then took off. And I was just like, what did I do? I got slapped on both cheeks. What did I do? I'm so sorry. Totally the most abusive relationship I've ever had. Mr. Felix is a colonizer. Yeah, no, we've been slapped several times by the powers that be. And rather than becoming proactive, instead we've been like, what have I done? I didn't do anything. I didn't like hyperstimulate him or anything. He just ran to the back where I was. I didn't even call him. He ran to the back. He's very sensitive to energy. And then he attacked me. He didn't claw me though. He didn't have his claws out when he hit my cheeks. So embarrassing to share that Felix slapped the hell out of me. Okay. The hungry ghost, obsession, scarcity, consciousness, attachment. That's what they're trying to initiate. You know, they're the hungry ghosts. But this card came in reverse. So what you're needing to do is negate that scarcity consciousness, is refuse to enter and remain in that space of obsession. You can't be obsessed with the demise of humanity because it is not going to happen. Humanity is not going to cease to exist at any point. I can promise you this. I can promise you this. Humanity is not going to cease to exist at any point. At any point. So you got to stay out of that mindset, okay? Again, you can knee jerk reaction, be triggered, and enter into a space of fear momentarily. Momentarily. That's fair. That is understandable. That is fair. Once you realize you're in a space of fear and repeating fear based patterns, you then need to choose, consciously choose to exit out of that space of fear and become proactive. Okay, what do I need to do? How do I need to prepare? I'm being given advance notice. So now I have time to do this and that. If you really don't have funds, which I know many of us don't have funds, if you really don't have funds to get yourself a little bit of extra food, go on OfferUp, sell some of the stuff you don't use. Even though it seems like trash to you, just clutter, there's someone who's needing that. They actually need it and they will pay for it. Monetize your gifts, your passions, create things and sell it. There's a way to get things done. You know, many years ago, like 20 years ago, um, we lived in a condo. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but if you live in an apartment or a condo, the trash collection, it's a huge dumpster. There are several dumpsters that are kept on property, and that's where you put your trash. And when the trash guy comes, they just dump out the dumpster. Okay, so it's not individual garbage cans. So what my husband used to do, and at the time I was like, stop doing that. Like, why are you doing that? Because I didn't understand. If he sees something valuable, and you know, most people would be like, but that's trash. It's in the dumpster. He would take it home. One time, I don't know who left it there, but one time someone had dumped two BMW, I believe it was BMW tires with the rims attached to it still. And I was like, that's garbage. Leave it there. Like, we don't have space in our condo for this. And he's like, no, I'm reselling it. And I was like, oh, motherfucker, someone bought it. Someone bought it. I think at the time he listed it on like Craigslist or something like that. They didn't have OfferUp yet. Um, and someone bought it. He made, I don't know, it was like $50, $60 off of someone else's trash. The tires were still good. I don't know why someone got rid of it. But yeah, someone bought it. You guys, stop holding on to things that could serve you. It's currently not serving you as you're holding on to it, but sell a whole bunch of your stuff. that you're not using anymore. And then use that money for whatever you need. Did you guys know the crystals on my website? Those are mine because I have a shit ton of crystals everywhere. And they were just in boxes. They were just in boxes. And I knew I wasn't going to do anything with them. I mean, I didn't want to let them go, but I knew I wasn't going to do anything with them. So put them on the website, sold them. That went a long way funding certain things that I needed to fund. You have to start seeing the things that you have not as trash or clutter, but as an insurance policy for when you need extra cash. Did you know people will buy used shoes? They'll buy everything used. You have no idea how many people need what you have and don't use anymore. And I'm telling you guys, my husband teaches me so much just by being himself. He doesn't sit me down like, you need to learn this. No, I'm over here just observing this man like, what are you doing? And he's just making shit happen. Um, he was a very avid shoe collector. He's a shoe head. And I remember there were some Jordans that were like thrashed. They were thrashed. They were his like beater shoes. And and then he was cleaning it and he's like, I'm gonna sell these. And I was like, no one's gonna buy that. That's like disgusting. The shoe looks disgusting at this point. I wouldn't want to stick my foot in there. And he goes, someone's gonna buy it. So he cleaned it up real nice. He cleaned it up. It's obviously used, but he cleaned it up real nice. He disinfected the insole and everything. Someone fucking bought it for quite a bit. I was like, oh yeah, you sneakerheads are gross. I was like, that's gross. That's gross. Because I have an aversion to feet. But someone bought it. You guys, utilize your resources. Utilize your resources. You don't have to get rid of the things you still cherish. Keep that. That's for you. The things you no longer use, let it go. That is stored currency. Let it go. Let someone else use that. And in exchange, compensate you money. And you can use that to get the things that you want or need. You have no idea. There are people who have moved into homes that they can barely afford, newly moved in, and they want to decorate. There's a ugly painting you have in a closet that you don't want it. You were going to throw it away, but it's just like you haven't thrown it away yet. List it on OfferUp. Someone might buy that. It might fit their aesthetic. Okay. You can make it happen to the point where you can get everything that you need to prepare and be perfectly fine and unbothered during a 3-week period that's initiated by 3 FFs. Okay. The Lady of the Mirror, reflection, non judgment. Okay. What's going to be happening in our external environment is a reflection of what we have allowed in our internal environment. That needs to be corrected. See, it's the number 44. That's the number of the self. That needs to be corrected. Your perception of yourself and your capacity, your capability to provide for yourself, it needs to be corrected. You need clarity on how capable you are. For many of us, most of us, we have really succumbed to the programs that have been forced upon us that cause us to see ourselves as incapable of this or that. I beg to differ. You are not incapable. You are not incapable. Then you have to knock it off with this belief that you're incapable. No matter how low grade that belief is, it's the very thing that's allowing for blockages to continue to be dumped in your driveway, the driveway of your spiritual house. Stop allowing that. Okay. The Shadow Queen, acquiring knowledge, insecurity, and manipulation. You are acquiring knowledge that will help you navigate through whatever this process is. Do not allow your insecurity to manipulate you into a space of not being able to complete what needs to be completed. I'm telling you, utilize your resources responsibly. Okay? Utilize your resources responsibly. If you like to cook, maybe you can make things that qualify under cottage kitchen laws. Anything that does not have to be refrigerated, it does not contain dairy or meats. Um, I do believe in all states that would qualify as a cottage kitchen product. Look into the specific laws of your region. You don't need a health inspection for cottage kitchen products. They don't need to be refrigerated. So that means you can go to a farmer's market, pay like what, 50 bucks, 75 bucks to have a booth and have all of that lovely, lovely offering supercharged with your love offered to the people who go to this farmer's market. This is the season where farmer's markets start. Do that. Do that. I know someone who posts on Facebook Marketplace a menu that they'll have, and then they take pre orders from people so they know how much to cook. And they'll have specific days where they will cook specific things, and these people will purchase it, and she'll meet them in a parking lot and give people their orders. It's pretty badass. It's pretty badass. There's so many different things you can do. So many different things you can do. You just have to be properly motivated, right? All right. So, okay. Got it. The cards confirm everything I'm saying. They're trying to get your emotions upside down, get you all riled up so that you're not as productive, not as centered. Um, they want you to remain in a space of being unaware of how much financial insurance you have in your home. Kids' old toys. You have kids who have outgrown their clothes. And there's people who have kids who are growing into the sizes that you have that can't afford brand new things or maybe don't want to. So many different things you can do, right? So they want you to be upside down in your emotions. They want you to be ridiculously afraid, right? Be fearless in reverse. They want all of that so that, guess what? So that you don't shine, so that you can't see yourself with clarity. Part of the way they're going to prevent you from shining and having clarity is by depleting your fuel through emotional exhaustion, right? It's time for you to have gratitude for what this is going to do for you. It's going to get you out of that space that you are currently in that has felt like an emotional, mental, financial, social prison. It's going to feel like you have no options, okay? And part of the reason why it's going to feel like you're given no options, that you're going to have to fight your way through this, is so that you choose to get through this. Some people think that I live stream because one day I decided I wanted to live stream. Not at all. Not at all. Part of the way that I was put on my actual path where I'm fulfilling parts of my divine purpose is because of tremendous challenge that I was put through. I was stranded in a parking lot intentionally, not intentionally by me. You know, Michael, who you guys like adore, this motherfucker broke the brakes on my RV. He had me go into a mountain town, and then there was a freak snowstorm once we crossed state lines. And while we were there, the brakes broke. I was stranded in a mountain town for months. And the only way to get out of that was to go through the process of being made so uncomfortable that I refused to stay in that space of discomfort, of being hidden away and existing in such a small manner. These situations that we are going through, these situations we're about to go through, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to serve as the impetus for you to exit out of these spaces of stagnation. If you allow it to do what it's meant to do, you will see your life change in the most powerful of ways. Soul does not change your life in a sustainable way by providing you ease, comfort, and security. Think on that. Really let yourself think on that. After having gone through the things that I've gone through, which I am not bitter about in any way, shape, or form, I'm very grateful for all of my life experiences. After having gone through the things that I went through, specifically being stranded, I will never allow myself to get to that point again. Absolutely not. No. Is it because I'm averse to it? No, it's because there's no need for me to go through that. I've learned from it already. There's no need to be in a space of feeling very stressed out and wondering what it is I'm supposed to learn, because I knew I was only in that situation to learn something. I knew that in my heart. I knew it. And because I knew that, that's the very reason it was prolonged the way it was prolonged. Because I wasn't tripping. I even used to tell my husband, like, don't worry. It is not a big deal. Before you know it, we're going to be looking at this period. We're going to look back and we're going to be laughing. We'll be like, man, that was fucking crazy. It was crazy. It was amazing. It really was. It was amazing. It was. It was a very beautiful experience. When you get inserted into a space of needing to see with clarity what it is you're needing to learn, you're going to need to create and sustain a stillness inside yourself until you get to a point where you really recognize what it is that you're being taught in that life circumstance. You have to sit in a space of stillness and just observe from a space of neutrality. Transformation. It's going to take you to a point where you transform. See the number 33? That's the number of the ascended masters, the teachers. This entire thing is designed to cause you to ascend to a higher degree of awareness of self. Visions of life beyond death. Visions of life beyond death in reverse. You don't even have to visualize yourself dying. That's not something that, like, no, that's not part of what needs to happen. We don't have to go through anything apocalyptic. You guys know that, right? We don't have to. But when we as a collective begin to choose things that are elevations in the learning we're doing together, things are going to get intense and you're going to start to wonder, like, is this the end? No. Because really the ends are nothing but the precursors for the new beginnings. There's never an end. Because the ends are really just precursors for new beginnings, for another cycle to initiate. What you want wants you. So for many of us, what you want wants you, but it's going to be brought in a way that you least expect. And you're going to think, you don't want that. You don't want that. And when you begin to refuse to be fully present as you learn and experience the things that need to be learned and experienced, it's going to create some complications for you. It would be best to simply flow. There are times where things happen within my personal lessons, my personal life circumstance, and I don't understand it and I don't like it. and I begin to feel very averse to it. And then I have to sit and remind myself, like, just be present. Be present and observe. If you don't like it, then the more you neutrally observe, the faster you will get through whatever this cycling is. And it's always been true. It's always been true. Before, I would need to take several years in a cycle before I would allow myself to begin exiting. To date, my longest cycle of some type of struggle, I think it was about a 9-year cycle. It was really hard. It was really hard for me personally. It took me about 9 years to cycle out of that. I look back and I'm like, girl, you could have done that in like a couple days, couple weeks, couple months. You really didn't need no 9 years. Apparently, I did need 9 years because that's how long it took me to give myself that clarity, right? Card number 34, in the world, not of this world. So this is just basically an acknowledgement of your divinity, an acknowledgement of how provided for you are. You're given all the types of circumstances that are necessary to prevent unnecessary obstacles from being placed before you once again. You have to trust yourself through this process. You have to trust yourself. You have to work on your intuition and trusting your soul. You're not going to be made a fool. You are the only one in control. You are pulling your own strings. It is you in control of your life. Beyond the mind, the heart beats. Beyond your thoughts and your fixations, mental and emotional fixations, there is a rhythm to the things you are experiencing. And if you can just allow yourself to get synchronized with the rhythm of the experience, it'll go in a much better way than you expect. Power of attraction in reverse. So rather than attracting to you the very things that you want and need, something's happening, initiation of fear, um, a triggering maybe that is causing you to repel. Excuse me. It's causing you to push away the very things that you should be allowing to come closer. Softly, softly, the tender touch. It's time for you to get very gentle with yourself. It's time for you to recognize the ways in which you are your most vicious critic, the most hypercritical person in your life. You need to give yourself some grace. I know it's a hard thing to do for many of us, but it's necessary. It's necessary. Oh, I love that, Lilith. I love that. Lilith says, we get so comfortable until we finally accept the situation for what it is, not just what's in our heads. I really feel that acceptance is the first big step to change. And I think what Lilith means is we get so uncomfortable until we finally accept the situation for what it is. I find that to be so true. That my discomfort through the certain cycles, certain situations that I've had to live through, it didn't stop until I allowed myself to move and flow in the way soul was asking me to. Until I accepted that, okay, I have to do what needs to be done. I cannot avoid it. I cannot pretend. I cannot ignore. Someone's eating like red vines, red licorice, Twizzlers or something. It tastes so good. Someone's eating red vines. And like, I love red vines. I haven't had it in years because it has wheat. That just tastes so good. I can smell it. I can taste it. I can feel the texture being chewed. Fascinating. Okay, guys, I have session a session that's going to start. So I'm going to have to get going. I can't do a final card. I wish I could, but I can't. So please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live and find me on TikTok. I'm starting the info dump. And if you want to know some information, find the post. I believe it's pinned at this point. Let me just check. Let me give you some accurate info. Yes, it's the only pinned video on my TikTok profile. It says Halls of a Mentee. Comment whatever your question is on there. I'm not doing private readings on there. I'm not like soliciting people to let me read them. Subject matter. If you have questions, ask them on that video. And I'm going to be going through the comments soon and creating video responses to share information. So that's going to be fun. I'm evolving across all social media. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Hopefully, this reading did not freak you out. I completely understand if it did, but don't stay there in that space of fear. You're being given advance notice to be able to prepare properly for whatever it is that needs to be prepared for. 40 days from the 8th. I don't know what date that is, but 40 days from the 8th is ample time for you to prepare yourself. You're going to be okay. Your family's going to be okay. Everyone will be okay. So I'll see you guys again very, very soon.